No matter how much better you get in life, how old you get, it doesn't matter. The same shit
Yeah.
is going to always follow you. So
Hmm.
shine some light on those demons and they'll stop chasing after you. If you don't do that, you're doomed. They're always going to be chasing after you. And your
Yeah.
life is going to become like this race where you try to escape from them and they're constantly chasing after you. All right, Dom, what are we reacting to today?
So it seems like someone here has no friends at 36 years old, and we're just gonna listen to his thoughts.
Sounds interesting. All right, let's go.
Yeah.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? So, it's been just over 3 years since I posted my first video on here about having no friends. And these videos are about exactly as uncomfortable as they were back then when I was 32, almost 33. And I just turned 36 a little over a month ago. I think one of the main reasons, I guess there's multiple reasons that we've discussed before about why it's challenging for me to build friendships. And over these last few years, thanks to like a lot of comments I've gotten, a lot of DMs and things, and thank you to everybody who's, tried helping out a little bit. A lot of these reasons stem from, really early in life. And I think, unfortunately, I've had a mindset for a long time where I thought I could outwill or like be tougher than the feelings that I've had about myself, about any shortcomings I have, insecurities, any of those things. I thought I could just like outwork all of those things. And a little bit after like the pandemic, that's really when things started to come to light about I guess how I feel about myself. It was just hard to say. I think I'm still struggling now with the same things that I struggled with like many years back, as far as like not self-sabotage, somewhat, I guess. Definitely overanalyzing things, which has grown over the years. And like it's self-perpetual, like I'm causing this issue and it keeps growing and growing and growing. And sometimes it will cool down and then it comes back up. Like most recently, it's been, I've been having issues with it for like a while now.
Why do you think it's difficult for a guy who's, attractive, no homo, and, in shape
Yeah, he looks jacked,
for him to
takes care of
have
himself,
friends?
haircut, beard,
Yeah. I
He
think,
he says he's putting effort into it, or like he could get friends if you really put the effort into that. I don't
Mhm.
know. To me, it feels like you shouldn't even try. You should just be yourself, and that's how precisely you get friends that are like-minded. People that are like
Yeah.
you.
Mhm. Maybe it could be due to like his environment or like geography, probably. But even then, I think you should just be yourself and find different hobbies, different skills that align with other people. I don't know what this guy does, so I don't know his background particularly, but
He
if he
seems
had like hobbies
he seems to
or
be pretty self-aware, or at least like he's definitely putting a lot of effort into becoming more self-aware of.
Mhm.
He at least is realizing that he's overthinking a lot of things, like, and he said something that's really interesting, which is that he's still battling the same issues that he used to battle years ago. And that's something that I always talk about, like those demons never stop following you unless you put an end to that once and for
Mhm.
all. Because
Yeah.
no matter where you go, no matter how much better you get in life, how old you get, it doesn't matter. The same shit
Yeah.
is going to always follow you.
Mhm.
And you can't just get rid of it like that. You have to address it and fix it. So
Mhm.
shine some light on those demons and they'll stop chasing after you. If you don't do that, you're doomed. They're always going to be chasing after you. And your
Yeah.
life is going to become like this race where you try to escape from them and they're constantly chasing after you. And you
Mhm.
can't just live your life because there's
Yeah.
always the same issues kind of coming after you. You're still just as insecure. You're still just as doubtful about other people around you. You can't trust anyone. So Yeah.
I mean, when we met as friends, we related on very similar topics. I mean, not right away because we were still like strangers to each other, and
Yeah.
we didn't know like, is he on my side or
Yeah.
is he on the other side? So I think like as we got to explore more about our values and things started aligning, eventually like we just clicked as friends, and
Let's say we
we
both just enjoyed the same superficial things, but we didn't know
Mhm.
about what's underneath that surface.
like we slowly had to ask questions
Yeah.
about each other, and like, oh, I didn't know that you thought that way.
Yeah, like
I do too.
I didn't
And
know you worked out like that. I didn't know you
yeah.
did diet like this. I didn't know you learned more about our uh, physical body composition. The way you eat depends on how this and that, and how you train, and how like everything affects you in a different way. And we suddenly started to show a lot of interest in the same things. Almost as if, I don't know, like we coincided on the same path, like we were just overlapping on the same
Mhm.
things. And that is what, how do you say this? Like it reinforced, I would say, the friendship. Like
Yeah,
it brought it to another level where we're now creating this channel
like
together and reacting
channels
to,
and
yeah.
yeah,
So that's
it's
awesome.
so cool. Yeah.
To overthinking and some sort of social anxiety for sure. And then I feel like I get caught in the same cycle of thinking, well, I'd rather do things by myself, because sometimes I would. But I also think that's a cop out that I've kind of established over the years, because I'm used to doing so many things without friends. There's so many reasons. It's challenging. But I'll explain the overthinking part. And this like spills into friendships for sure, but this impacts my whole life, and I don't think people know the degree to which it does. But most of the day, even right now making this video, if I'm at work especially, or if I'm talking to anybody really, I have an inner monologue going on almost the whole time. So it's at least, let's say 10 hours out of the day, to be realistic, I'm overthinking what I'm saying as I'm saying it. This is especially obvious when I'm at work and I'm giving a presentation, or I'm walking through, a new work stream or whatever I'm doing. I'm spending most of that time thinking about what I'm saying, and thinking how maybe stupid I look, or how I sound weird. Like I've always had this weird thing where I think that I don't know how to put it. I think that I can't speak well. And I think a lot of that stems from me being very quiet when I was younger, and modeling the behavior of, like my dad, for instance, who is very quiet and meek. And
Pause.
I think that even
Yeah, I mean, I relate with that too.
A lot.
Being quiet, and yeah, like being kind of insecure about yourself and not like expressing yourself as wholly as you would. And yeah, this like insecurity is so crippling sometimes, because as we see in society, like extroverted people get rewarded more than quieter people, which happens on a case by case basis. But like sometimes you have to use those strengths to your advantage. Whatever you have, whether it's your intellect, use whatever things that you have at your disposal and put it as a strength.
Yeah,
So
I can definitely relate to what he said about over analyzing and overthinking everything he says as he speaks. Like
mhm.
it happened to me a lot of times, and it still happens sometimes nowadays. But I would say in a lot of a lesser degree, and I don't know it. One day you just get so fed up with that, you get sick of it to the point where you say, you know what, I no longer give a fuck. Like people can say
Yeah.
whatever they want. I'm just gonna speak my mind the way I want to speak my mind, and nothing to do with offending anyone or actively seeking after like I want to offend people on purpose. Like no, bro, this is
Mhm.
just what's on my mind, and this is how I articulate it the best of my ability. And no wonder we're so tired all the time, bro. We're so constantly thinking and
Suppressing.
overthinking. Yeah, you're thinking so much like, hold on, should I say it this way, or is there a better way to say it? As you speak, you're kind of making these calculations in your mind in a split second, and that drains a lot of your energy, and no wonder you're feeling tired all the time. Plus, you add the shitty diets we're fed on today, nowadays, and the lack of physical exercise and the overindulgence in like social media and dopamine cycles and all that stuff. It's all around us. We're so doomed because of that if we don't wake up from that spell, But the day you put an end to it, bro, everything gets a lot better. Everything starts to improve a lot better. It's almost like taking off a mask, off your eyes.
Yeah.
You remove that and you can
That authenticity.
You can finally see,
Yeah.
How can you go back to what you had before once you see the real thing?
I think in his situation, he probably still has a hard time like not giving a fuck about people's opinions, because I mean it can affect anybody, like how do you not give a fuck about what people think about you, because everyone's constantly watching, but they're not, that's just all in your head usually, and most people don't care. They have their own problems.
So he says that it's usually at work, for instance, he's giving a presentation or something. Oh, I have to say it this particular way so I can sound this way and I can please them and they don't think that I'm stupid or that my idea is shit or something. Those things are always in your mind. Like you just said, you make it up in your mind. Worst case scenarios. Oh no, they're going to think I don't know my shit. Like they're going to think I'm stupid. Blah, blah, blah.
In fact, they're probably more nervous about their speech than, than your speech. They're trying to like memorize their lines.
Either that or they're just so amazed by what you just said or the way you're putting it. And usually it's the opposite of what you think. Usually after one of those presentations, you think, well, it wasn't bad, but I could have done a lot better. Then people come at you and they go like, bro, that was insane. Like, thank you so much for this presentation thing. It was amazing. I can't believe how well you said those things. And you're like, whoa, that's not how I saw it. But that's because you're always constantly expecting better, from yourself.
It honestly goes back to childhood trauma, I feel.
Yeah.
Just not being good enough for whoever is like telling you that in your life, whether it's your parents or like strangers, teachers.
Those are the demons I was talking about, right?
Yeah.
You're going to drag them all the way into adulthood if you don't fix them right away. But you're just a kid. How are you supposed to fix those things?
Yeah.
Well, you're probably not. But as you grow up, you should become self-aware enough to notice that they're there.
Yeah. Unfortunately, some people don't become self-aware enough and they just end up destroying everything in their path
and pointing
future
fingers.
Relationships, and
they blame everybody but themselves because it's not my fault, right? It's not my fault. But
it's a curse.
Let's see how this develops.
Even while I'm talking, I feel so much imposter syndrome, whether that's at work or with a group of people. And although I'm pretty confident over everything I've learned the last few years, that no one is really seeing that. And this is all literally in my head. And I'm sure a lot of you can attest to understanding that feeling. Which is unfortunate because I'm almost having three things happening in parallel with each other. Like 1, I'm speaking audibly. 2, I'm in my own head basically telling myself all the things I'm saying incorrectly, or if I'm not using the correct verbiage or something. There's so many different elements to it, but so those are happening. Then I have a third one now since I've learned more things. So this is the frustrating part. I have another voice, which is a more productive version of myself, reminding myself that I'm self-sabotaging and the things I'm thinking about myself aren't true and that people aren't thinking these things. So not only am I talking out loud, I'm having like a old, younger version of myself, saying all the negatives and the doubts and all those things. Then I have a nicer version of myself, a more mature version who sees things as they are, telling that version that, I don't know, everything's okay, that I'm normal, that
that no one cares, right? That's the point that I was trying to make earlier. Like, when you think that, oh no, people are going to notice, I'm not, the imposter syndrome and everything he mentioned, like, oh no, people are going to realize that I'm not as good as I told them I am, you know, or something like that. Just because you never see yourself at the top, like, you always think there's a higher top for you to reach, or some higher level to reach. And you're going to be naturally always aiming at improving yourself. And that's why it's never going to be enough. You can make an easy example with money, for instance. You know, you finally make 1,000 a month. Wow, impressive. You know, you finally make 5,000 a month. Wow, impressive. But there's always something else, like, I can do better. I can do better. 10K a month, you know, 10K a month, 20, a million a month. I don't know. You give me any numbers, but it's never going to be enough, because there's always a possibility to do better. And I'm not only making this with money, with physical prowess and achievements of any kind, professionally. It's everything.
True.
So
Yeah.
it's quite it's quite interesting to see how this problem is so relatable, you know, like, so many people go through the same thing. What this guy's talking about is so relatable. I can really understand everything he's talking about, because that's how it felt like inside here all along. You know, there was always this voice he mentions about, this is not okay, this is wrong, this is, like, you're not doing it right, they're gonna laugh at you. And then there's that other voice, like, shut up, bro, everything's fine. How can you be so arrogant to think people are paying attention to you? They don't care.
But the thing is, that voice is so small compared to the
negative
fear
one.
voice. Yeah.
Yeah. It's always like
And
that.
it's like, you want that voice to overcome the fear. And it's
usually the
difficult.
quiet guy in the back, you know, that's the voice you're ignoring. And he's just telling the truth, like, guys, hello, here, no one cares. And everybody else is like, no, we should perform for them. They should see us in our best, you know, version, whatever. Bro, no one cares. You know, people have lives too. They have their own issues to attend, and they don't have time to, like, always pay attention to you.
Yeah.
My point is coming across. I'm speaking well. Like, it's constantly those two battling. And it happens, like I said, for the majority of the day in most conversations. Sometimes I can break out of that and not think much, and that's nice. But honestly, oftentimes I'm overthinking or talking to myself while I'm talking, which is really frustrating. And I'd like to understand more about like how to cool that inner monologue down. Because like the one benefit I would say is I'm self-sabotaging myself with like relationships or friendships, like work relationships and friendships, and getting in my own way. But it hasn't slowed my career down at all, which I'm very proud about. That's like good. I have progressed in my career like year after year after year for the last 8 years. And I've climbed the corporate ladder, you know, 9 different roles. So I think the other part of it too is like the other part of not having friends. Sorry if this is like dragging on. This is a terrible video, but
what he just did is like that insecurity crippling in there, you know, like it's, I'm sorry guys, this is not the perfect video, but whatever, you know, he thinks he's not, this is not
that's
the perfect
exactly
video. What's the perfect video? He's got 42K subscribers and this video got like over 250,000
300,000
11K likes, so 5,000 comments. Sorry, guys. This is
Bro,
not the perfect video. Sorry.
I used to be that way too. Yeah, it's like that voice that's like always apologizing, always supplicating.
Right.
Oh, I'm sorry I did that, guys. Like I didn't mean to. Dude, you did nothing wrong. Like,
You're just
why are
being
you
you.
apologizing for something that you didn't even do wrong? You know?
Yeah. You're
And
just
that's when
being
I
you.
stopped saying sorry for stuff that, like, like why am I apologizing for? Like I didn't commit a crime. You know?
Yeah,
It's like
exactly.
unless you've done something like really bad, then yeah. But if it's for just like, oh, I'm sorry, guys, I made this video wrong. Like, it doesn't make
Everybody's like,
sense.
what?
Yeah.
Is there supposed to be a correct way to do a video? The fuck? You're just talking to the camera. Just speak up
Yeah.
your mind. That's it.
I think that I got so focused on self-improvement and breaking like a generational cycle of essentially poverty and things like that, that I've spent like the last, let's say 13, 14 years, like so dedicated and focused on becoming a better version of myself that I've self-improved myself out of friendships and like any feeling of normality. I don't care how like much that's helped me progress in my career, because it hasn't helped me feel better socially or hasn't helped me like relax at a monologue or any of those things. And it's a bummer to think that for 3 years I still feel like I'm basically back to square one from like a friend's perspective, and that's again, that's unfortunate. And it's something that I still want to take time to figure out, and I am actively trying to hang out with people, but I always find like an excuse or reason, like after hanging out like one time, why like I don't want to hang out again, or why I just want to do things myself, and it's very frustrating. Especially as like a 36-year-old, and life goes by so fast. Like the last 3 years, it's insane how quickly that went by. And to think in those 3 years, not that much has changed in that area of my life is hard to admit.
Pause.
And
You think maybe he has like this really high expectation to have this sort of thing locked down? Because I don't know, like for me, I'm fine being by myself and I thrive being alone. I'm naturally like introverted. I mean, like this guy seems pretty introverted too. I think that craving he has is like something he has a high expectation for. Like he wants it so bad, but like he's not getting it from, I don't know how to explain it. Like,
Yeah, I get it. Like, look, one thing I realized was that there's a point where your circle starts expanding like this horizontally and starts getting deeper, vertically. Your circle begins to shrink, but it gets deeper. So the few people are those you connect with the most. And then everybody else is kind of left outside.
yeah.
Which means you no longer have that much contact with them because your connection was so superficial that only those deep ones survived in your circle. And now you've got maybe 3 people you usually talk with. You know everything about them and they know everything about you. You guys share the same story, and not the same story with all the details, but like you guys walk the same path. You're aiming for the same dreams and same goals and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And according to what I get from this guy, Josh, in this video, is that he's got 0 friends. No one, right? So I think, I don't know, maybe he feels that way. It's hard for me to say now, but maybe he just feels that way. Maybe there are actually a lot of people in his life, and he's just seeing them as like, no, they're not my friends, like not that deep of a relationship, It's just until the day he realizes that one of them is actually doing the same thing he's doing, and then they can connect.
Align forces.
Yeah.
Probably just not in his particular area, but there are people out there like him who do the same things as him, or like
Sure.
think the same way, kind of be comfortable the same way. like you'll find that crowd, and like we've, you know, found each other and built our
Bro,
friendship
we live
through.
across the world, right?
Yeah.
On the other
Yeah,
side.
and our friendship is tighter than most people who have friendships in real life.
Yeah.
Which is honestly
We
crazy.
did
Like,
challenges together. We encourage
yeah,
ourselves. We kind of stay in touch more often than not. And I don't
yeah,
know, like we end up creating things together. And it feels nice to know that there's someone else out there that understands you and you understand
mhm,
them. And we both kind of keep studying ourselves to the point where we can better understand the other people around us.
exactly. And then if people are on the same wavelength as us, you know, they're more than welcome
Oh,
to
that was a
join our
mistake, Dom.
tribe.
You ruined the video now. You ruined it.
Cut, cut that out.
No, that's not
Done.
how it works. You know, these things are normal. It's the
Yeah.
most organic and natural thing you can expect. It's not meant to be perfect. And however,
Mhm.
somehow that's how it becomes perfect. It's those,
Yeah, just those little
yeah,
mistakes and stuff. It's what makes you real, like a
exactly.
real person.
Just like he's doing this video, no editing,
Yeah.
nothing, just one take, and he's just saying
And
what he
look
has
how
to say.
many people he's brought to his channel.
Exactly. Exactly. But instead, imagine if he starts with like, "Hey guys, welcome to this new video, blah blah blah." And there's like an intro and like flashy things and everything, and then
Mhm.
cuts every sentence, you know, like just to give more continuity maybe. Fuck
Yeah,
that. People want to listen to this as if it was like a face-to-face conversation, you know?
exactly.
older, without a doubt, it is more challenging for sure to find and maintain friendships. And in no way is that a cop out. I still take responsibility. Like, if that's something that I want, I have to prioritize it. But at the same time, it's challenging. Like, anybody who is in their late 30s, who has a career, and who has a spouse, and responsibilities, like the majority of every day is taken up. I mean, right now it's 7 p.m. So I worked all day. I went to the gym. Now it's 7. I'm gonna have to have dinner. Things like weekdays are so constrained. And then I do have the weekend, but unless you can get a friend to hang out consistently throughout the month, you might only see like a new friend 12 times a year. Compared to when you're younger or in college, I was typically seeing people at least
Well, I mean,
daily,
that's natural.
which is helping.
You know,
Yeah.
like as you grow older, more and more people are going to get busier, and you're not going to see people as often. So you kind of have to get comfortable with that fact that not everyone's going to be in your life like consistently throughout, you know, the days that you want and the months that you want. I mean, because, you know, as kids, we're all in the same environment together, like school, college, everyone's seeing each other like every day in class. So it makes sense. But like once you live your own life, like you're kind of on your own, and you have to be comfortable with that fact
And you
that
also have to realize that you might be that person you're criticizing right now. Like those people
yeah,
you complain about, they never have time. Oh my God, I want to do something. I finally have some time and they don't want to meet up or they don't want to. You are those guys a lot of times.
mhm,
When they have time, you don't want to do it. You know, you don't want to meet them. You don't want to go anywhere with them. And it's your fucking right to do so. What's so wrong with that? You know, you're probably not in the mood or you don't want to go to that party or you don't want to do that whatever they're saying they're going to do. And that's fine. But sometimes you're on this path of self-improvement and stuff and sometimes you have to make some sacrifices and maybe going out is not on your menu, you know, is not on your schedule. So you can't do that. Don't you think
mhm.
they're complaining about you like, man, that guy's never coming. Like, what's wrong with him? You know, he doesn't want to hang out with us or something. No, it's not that. It's just that I have to commit to other things right now. So it's how those,
Responsibilities.
yeah, it's how those calendars, like, let's say they don't align properly, you know?
Mhm.
And there's nothing wrong with that, I guess. You know, you're just
Yeah,
on your path right now. They're on their path right now. And at some point, you guys are going to come back together and enjoy talking about your adventures so far. You know, hey, Dom, what have you been up to in the past couple years? I haven't seen you in so long. Oh, bro,
Done
this
this,
happened. This
this.
happened. Yeah. Same story with them. And
And
then you get to a point where you guys get to walk the same path together, having learned all those things. So
yeah,
I don't see I don't see anything wrong with isolating
yeah.
yourself for a while.
Either that happens or you both go your own separate ways.
Or you
But
lose the connection.
either way, because either like you're leveling up and your friend's also leveling up that you haven't seen in years, and you come together and you share your experiences and you make the friendship even stronger, which I did actually with Taylor and Slade. I haven't seen them in a while. We decided like, hey, let's, we should get together and work out. Like I've been, studying this like self-improvement stuff, and
And it
like,
turned
yeah, we
out
get together.
they were so much more aligned with your way of thinking than you ever
Yeah.
believed, right?
And we became stronger as brothers and started working out every day. And then some friends, they just kind of fade in the background because they're not on the same wavelength as you. And you come together and they're like, oh, I haven't done much in this many years. What have you been up to? And you're striving and becoming successful. So some some friendships just die.
But
And
that
that's
does
like a,
I don't know. That doesn't mean they're no longer your friends or anything like that. You know, when you say
yeah.
friendships die, you just mean they get dimmer and dimmer. You know, it's just
Yeah, like it's a season of your life, I guess, or their part. They were there for those good times, but since they haven't like improved alongside you, they're kind of like, well, you're kind of looking for friends who are also improving,
right.
and it's just time to part ways. Like sometimes you outgrow friendships,
Yeah.
and like that's a natural part of life. That
And I feel like this is relevant to say at this point, especially on a title like this, with this video. But when there's no one around that can align with whatever you're doing, I don't know, I can speak for myself. I can't speak for you or anyone else, but it becomes even more encouraging. Like, this path I chose is so fucking hard that no one else is willing to follow. Either that or they just don't care, which is more likely. But still, it encourages me to see that no one else is doing this but me.
mm-hmm.
So now I'm
Yeah.
even more pumped to get to the end of this and see how it ends. And that becomes one of the main motivations why you're doing this, is because it's difficult. This is fucking hard. Whatever it may be, fitness, profession, business, whatever it is you're up to, it's really difficult. And that's the cool part of it, And if you know that line about how success is a pretty lonely road. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's real as fuck. And
I used to not believe it in the past. Like,
yeah,
I'm sure you'll have friends when you're successful,
you
right?
make some
Because
friends and that's it. It's fine.
people, yeah, like you're successful, people would want to be around you, right? But in reality, it's the complete opposite. Like either people get inspired by you and they do, come alongside you, or they get envious, they get jealous, they distance themselves from you, or you do the same to them. And yeah, people want to take your name down, people want to like try to sabotage you. And you think like all this time, like, oh, I thought success was going to be sunshine and roses.
Yeah, first
Like I thought I'm going to have the best friends ever.
usually they most of them have the best at heart for you. Like they just want your well-being and they feel the need to come in and warn you against whatever you're doing. Like, Dom, that's dangerous. You shouldn't be behaving like that. You shouldn't be doing that. That's dangerous.
Yeah.
And yeah, they try to talk you out of it, whatever you're doing. You're maybe you were fat and now you're kind of losing weight. And that's dangerous, bro. Don't do it like that. You can end up very bad. Shut up. Like, it's working. I'm happy with the way it's coming out.
Yeah.
And there's only one way to find out, is to get to the end of it. push through and make it happen.
Helping with my social anxiety too, because I was talking to people. It wasn't work related. It was just about life in general, having fun, things like that. Like, it's hard. I honestly feel like I'm not a fun person anymore, and that's another very sad thing. Because even when I was completely broke, I think I was a more enjoyable person to be around. And again, I think part of that is the whole self-improvement thing and trying to, be tough and have grit and like all those things, which...
Sorry to pause it again, but that's so relatable too. You feel more serious. You feel more like there's no more jokes, no more games, no more fun. But at the same time, this is fucking fun. This is the way you have fun now. It's enjoying this
totally
pain and suffering, or the difficulty of this is the fun for you.
It doesn't mean that like you're serious 24/7 and like you can't have a good side. Like, of course you can have a good side once you've done the work you need to do, you've put in effort. Like, sure, you can have some degenerate days, like one or couple days out of the year.
Yeah.
It's not going to hurt your progress. But like, I mean, you're only serious, you present yourself as serious if like you put on that face like 24/7. Then people are going to think you are serious. But if there are days where like, oh, you have fun too and you're lighthearted and all that stuff.
It's like one day at the gym, you're not going to get jacked.
Yeah.
One day at McDonald's, you're not going to get fat or unhealthy or anything like that.
It's a compound.
It's the continuity of that habit that eventually builds the results.
And one person is like not all black and white. Like, we all have gray areas.
There's a lot of
we're
gray.
all different kinds of emotions, happy, sad, serious. Like, no one can be serious like 24/7.
There's always a place and a moment for all of that. So if people
Even I have
expect you
jokes.
to be, if people expect you to be funny all the time, I'm sorry, you're gonna let them down a lot of the times, because you're not always funny or in the mood to make jokes. And if they expect you to always be serious, I don't know, bro. This is how I feel about it,
Complex. Yeah.
Those are all great, but there has to be a balance. And it would probably be tiring to be my friend, which isn't, like, that's sad to say. I think before it would have been a little more carefree and stuff, but now that have more anxiety and feel these things and constantly I'm overthinking and stupid shit like that, I don't know, I wouldn't want to be my friend right now. And I think that's another piece that's probably an issue there. So
that's interesting, because I don't know if many people think that way about themselves. Like, would you be your own friend? Would you be your own whatever?
A lot of people hate themselves, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But that's why you have to, like, I don't know, like, you have to be your own best friend, or at least learn to love yourself and take care of yourself. Like, you can't just
love yourself first before you learn how to love other people. The same way you have to learn and understand your inner world first, just so you can make more sense about the outer world afterward. So
before this, I mean, I've rambled so much this video, but I just want to give an update and explain kind of some of the like things that I've been thinking, and how I still do feel like obviously it's very important to build friendships. It's weird. I felt fine and stuff because I've been so busy with work, but over the last only couple of weeks, it's been a very debilitating feeling. I mean, even today, I just was feeling so bad about not having friends, and I think that's why I thought about making a video, because it's not a good feeling to have I don't want to keep rambling, but it's crazy. If I was to look through my texts and things like that, if my phone goes off, I know it's going to be like a family member or Emily. And never do I expect like, oh, it's going to be a friend or somebody. It's typically going to be like a notification about you got 40% off at the vet. Or like
That's relatable too.
you know, your Amazon package was delivered or something.
Like not many notifications going on.
Mhm.
It just speaks a lot about your lifestyle. Like if you have a quiet lifestyle, you don't really engage in like those busy chat groups and like sending jokes and memes or staying in touch with whatever they said last on the news or whatever. Then people are gonna naturally kind of not reach out to you anymore unless they need something, you know. Hey Dom,
Sometimes,
long time no see. What's up? Yeah, I was wondering if you could let me use your backpack.
I've
or
gotten those
your-
texts too.
Yeah.
Yeah, just out of the blue.
Hey, you had one of
They're
those
like,
little
"Hey, can I
cameras,
get the-"
right? So I'm going
Yeah.
on a trip. Can I use your camera and I'll give it back when I'm back? And then they
It's
break
never
it.
about
and
like,
then-
"Hey, can I spend time with you? Can I hang out with you?"
Yeah.
It's never like any of those texts.
How's
usually.
life, Dom? No, it's
Yeah.
never about that. It's usually just,
Mhm.
hey, can I use
But
something?
that's why, yeah, sometimes you have to be the one to initiate like hanging out with people, because oftentimes people don't even know that you want to hang out unless you ask to hang out.
Yeah.
And sometimes we just expect people to like come to us all the time, but sometimes you have to make that effort to like say, hey, like, you want to hang out? Because usually sometimes they'll say yes, and they'll be like, yeah, dude, I've been waiting to hang out with you for ages. Sometimes I got on those texts too, you know, from friends I haven't heard from.
Yeah.
Because I expect them to reach out to me, but once I reach out to them, they're like, yeah, dude, I've been meaning to like catch up with you this whole time. And they're like, wow. So
It doesn't
yeah,
take
you
much to just talk, you know, to just say things.
Mhm.
Like no one's gonna read your mind, and everybody's
Yeah.
gonna misinterpret every single action you take. If you don't talk to them anymore, just because you're busy, they're gonna think, "Oh, he doesn't want to hang out with us anymore." No,
Yeah.
bro, I would die to hang out with you guys. It's just that I have these things happening, and I have to take care of them now.
Yeah.
Why didn't you say anything? You know, it's like usually we think that it's
Yeah.
gonna take a lot more energy to explain things than to actually do them.
Yeah.
That's why we choose
Like,
to
oh,
make
I-
them happen that way.
Yeah. Sometimes we play it too cool, and like, yeah, I don't want to bother him or anything, or like,
Yeah,
he's living his life.
Either
you know?
that, or you're kind of afraid of them kind of not getting it and then asking you like, but Dom, that's not the best way to build muscle. Like you should actually train this other way instead. And you're like, no, bro, I already made my mind. Dom, listen to me. This is the best way. I'm telling you. Forget about that plan you're building right now. Do it this other way. So they try to convince you to do it in a different way. And you realize how you end up creating even more noise than you had before. And you wish you would have shut up about it and not say anything. Just show up one day jacked and like, hey guys, this is a new me. You know, I'm just making a quick example here with like physical development, but it really works with anything else. So I decided to join this football club. Oh, why? Why football, bro? Like tennis is so much better, or basketball, or like, bro, because I don't know. Like they always try to, you know, kind of change the story. But if you one day show up with results straight up, then they have no other thing to say than, wow, awesome. You got to become like more of an I did or I've done guy rather than I will do this and I'll do that, you know, and keep promising things you don't even know you're going to commit to or not.
Yeah. It seems like though this guy has done a lot of stuff. So I mean,
yeah,
it's just
he's doing
friend
well. All he's got to
part.
do is to keep going, I would say, you know.
yeah,
Something like that.
and find his tribe.
And again, this isn't to be like self-deprecating and woe is me. That's just kind of the reality of it. And I don't want another 3 years to go by. I still don't have friends, or I'm not reaching out to old friends and things like that. So, yeah, I'm going to try this summer to kind of get over those things and try to let the more mature, kinder version of myself qualm the fears that my younger, like sadder version of myself is kind of throwing me off. So I'm gonna end the video here. But yeah, thanks for watching. See you guys.
Great.
Interesting story. Yeah.
Very.
So he knows what to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was an interesting video. I could relate to so many other points he said, and I know
Same.
you can too. And see, it's interesting how this works, because we wouldn't be able to relate to any of that if we hadn't gone through that story, right?
Yeah, because we're also on self-improvement.
Yeah.
And yeah, we've just had to navigate through a lot of different things as well.
You would probably be like, bro, shut up. That doesn't make any sense. Like, why are you even feeling that way? But instead, you're like, yeah, I know where you're coming. I felt that way. And all you got to do is to keep walking. You know, there's no other way around it. And it eventually gets better. If it's not good, it's because the story is not over yet. So,
Yeah.
yeah, guys.
Well,
We hope
that
you
wraps
enjoyed-
up this reaction.
We hope you enjoyed it.
And,
Thanks for watching. Let us know your thoughts down below. Feel free to check out the original content, the original video from Josh.
and leave any suggestions you have for future videos so we can react.
Send us any videos you'd like us to react to, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye, guys.
All right. See you guys.